Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing a little bit of time with us today. I know you're all super busy. What a way to start the week. I am going to say again what I said after the game. As a football team, me personally, I don't believe in coincidences. We believe in godly moments. And it seemed like Saturday was meant to be in multiple ways. It took 4 quarters to get it done. It was our 4th win in a row. We carry around a number 4 jersey with Todrick McGee's number on it. It was just unbelievably fitting. Our players played inspired football. It wasn't perfect by any means. We had to stay in the fight, finish it off the right way, all the way down to the wire, and I couldn't be more proud of our football team. They've been through so much the last 6-8 months, personally, physically, the trials, the tribulations, the doubts, and for them to overcome everything and be at 6 wins and our 3 losses versus great opponents is unbelievable. I love coaching this team. I love the men in the locker room. Everyone that has touched this football team during this season should be very proud of themselves. Now, with saying that, there is work to be done. We have not put together our best 4 quarters yet, which we plan to do, hopefully sooner rather than later. We've got a really good UTEP football team coming in. You can throw the record out. They're a football team that still plays extremely competitively. They're hungry. They have a good coaching staff that still believes and puts together great plans. And we have to have another good week of practice and get ready for homecoming.
Coach, let's start with halftime on the road at Liberty. Obviously, the defense played well in the first half. The offense had its struggles. What was the environment like in the locker room at halftime? What was the focus at halftime, down 10-0?
Sure. I'll start with just a little bit of the first quarter in general. There was a great crowd at the stadium. I mean, beautiful facility. Hats off to Liberty. They're a really good football team. They had a really good defensive plan. They were playing a bunch of man with some man pressure, and we were struggling with it. We did not stay on time offensively, had a few sacks that were untimely, got us behind the sticks, and we just couldn't get in the flow of the game. Now, going to the defensive side of the football, after that first drive, we gave up a quick 7, and we're able to settle into the game. Just gave up one more 3 before the half, and I think that was a pivotal point in the football game. Just being able to come out of that first half 10-0, understanding that the offense will find the rhythm, defense will make the adjustments needed to continue to close out the football game. But the mindset is everything. We went into half, and a lot of locker rooms you'll go into, if you're down at half, everybody's pouting, they're down, they're upset. All the conversation was what we needed to do to turn it around and go win the football game. We've become a second-half football team that knows how to get wins, and that's all the conversation was. It was positivity, it was energy, and it was a sense of determination that we're going to come out, we're going to take the football game from them and win it late, and we did just that. But the staff was tremendous. Everybody had really good plans offensively to get us going, defensively to get the stops we needed, give the quarterback a few different looks, and to stop the run. We knew they wanted to run the football to be successful, and we knew we had to take that away, and we did that when we needed it most.
Ryan, the fumble late, the return, and then the following fumble. What was the emotional high-low there, team-wise? You're feeling good, then instantly you're feeling bad, but you rally back.
Yeah, how about that? You know, you're sitting there, the ball gets on the ground, and you're going, we got it won. And I will say this about DJ Westlake. He's doing what any football player is trained to do. He's going to get in the end zone. He's fighting for extra yards. It's a coachable moment. Protect the football when you're about to get hit. He's not a natural ball carrier. So people that were saying, Coach, were you mad? Were you upset? No. I was proud of him for making a play the very best he could. It was unfortunate. And it's a coachable moment for everybody on our team moving forward that, you know, you make a great play, just protect the football and fall into the end zone. We win the game a little easier than we did. But it worked out. And the best thing about it was right when they waved the touchback, the defense had gotten to the huddle, the defensive staff stepped in. It was led by the players. The players were going plenty of time to get a stop. We know what they're going to do, which we did. They did exactly what we thought they would do. We got our stops, stood tall, got a punt, and we were able to go down the field in 4 plays, 70 yards, and get the ball into the end zone in maybe the most efficient drive I've seen since I've been at Missouri State, orchestrated by Coach Petrino and our trigger man back there, Jacob Clark, with some great plays by the supporting cast. I mean, you couldn't have written it any better. The clock management was perfect. The execution by the players was perfect. That's how you go win those close football games, because, you know, everybody talked during the week about how good Liberty was and how hard they would be to beat. we still need to talk about that now. That's an elite football team. They're well coached. They got good players. And for us to go and take that victory in the fourth quarter should say a lot about the Missouri State football team.
3 timeouts. You burned one of those randomly in the third quarter, and it's different. Just talk about having all 3 of those at that moment.
Yeah, we were fortunate, and those things are valuable. You got to be precise, and you got to feel really good about when you need to take those timeouts, especially in the second half. I feel a little looser in the first half. I've been known to take a few on defense every now and then just to get us settled in, get the right play call on third down. But we knew it would be a fourth quarter football game. We knew we'd need them late, and it just so happened it worked out perfect for the Bears.
How do you keep from being complacent now? And you're coming home, you got the big win, you got a 1-14 from the conference coming in. What do you say to the guys? I mean, it must not take too much.
Yeah, you read my mind. We actually had a significant conversation on it last night with the entire team. And I think, again, you talk about program building and you talk about the next step. And one of those steps is being able to take care of business at home. In homecoming games that we need to go out, we need to be effective. And, a lot of people, and it's a natural thing, when you have success, the natural progress of a person is to go, man, finally we're pretty good. You have to fight the human aspect of complacency and go, trust our processes. How did we get to this point? Why would you ever change what's giving you success, what's breeding, big-time plays, being in the championship hunt in Conference USA for our first year ever in FBS? It's what we do on a day-to-day basis. And I think we have a pretty good staff that understands sometimes you got to have a little bit of a reset. So we're going to have a pretty tough Tuesday practice to see if we can't generate some controlled chaos situations to make sure we understand that we got a lot of work to do. And the nice thing for us is we weren't coming off a dominant win. I think it would have been much more difficult if we had put 4 quarters together and all of a sudden you blow the flames out at their place, but we did not. We have things to improve on. We have a lot of work to do, and our players are excited to continue to work on that.
Coach, you got 6 wins. 6 wins means you're, technically bowl eligible, but not. So I know after the game you made a statement about it, but how strongly do you feel that this team should deserve a shot?
Yeah, I feel really strongly. Our athletic director, my boss, will get into the weeds a little bit more in that after I get done. But I will say this. I think all policies and structure of anything in regards to college football should be around the student athlete. I think everything that we do should be about giving them as many opportunities to compete as possible, as many opportunities to get their brand out on national television, to better themselves in the eyes of the National Football League. How do you know in a bowl game there's not a kid that performs out of his mind and all of a sudden he gets picked up on a roster, makes a practice squad, creates generational wealth for his family? The last time I checked, that's why we're in this business. That's why I'm called a coach. That's why you cover them for media. That's why we all have jobs. So I think every single decision we make should be about our student athletes, should be about the young men in that locker room gutting it out and putting themselves in harm's way to get an extra game. I think if we lose sight of that, shame on us. Shame on us for the ones that got into the game for the right reason. And I think in the modern day era of college football, I don't know if it really makes sense to build a transition period to where there are no rules that give it a competitive advantage. If you want to see a competitive disadvantage, come see some of the things we got going on here at Missouri State. And our players are doing what they're doing despite that, despite those shortcomings of foundational pieces that we need desperately. And they're still 6-3 with 3 games to play, right in the middle of the Conference USA hunt. If you want a good football game and you want guys that love to compete and love to play football and represent what college football is truly about, put the Missouri State Bears in a bowl game.
UTEP, just personnel-wise, what do you kind of see from them?
Yeah, I think they're talented, man. I really do. I think they're a good group of players. They've got good skill positions. They play hard on defense. They create some issues with kind of what they do. They're a well-coached football team. Scotty does a nice job of keeping them juiced up, keeping them inspired. Again, I know they don't have the record that they want, but it doesn't take away from the good things they have done from time to time to keep themselves in ball games. I mean, they just took arguably one of the best teams in the conference to the wire just this weekend. So they're a good football team that we have to prepare hard for. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a dogfight, and I know that they're not coming in expecting anything less than our best.
Even beyond that, too, you know, you look at UTEP, like you said, you can throw the record out the window, but then you look beyond that to Kennesaw come the next week. I know you really like kind of stay where your feet are at, but how do you now kind of look ahead to that, and how do you kind of stay within this week to stay focused on the goal of TAM?
Yeah, UTEP's a really good football team. I'm excited to try to go 1-0 this week. Again, having a homecoming game can create some distractions, so we have to be tight. We have to make sure we have a focused mentality and just do what we've done every single week. Come back to work tomorrow, all eyes on UTEP, understanding the issues that they present, and find a way to go 1-0.
One thing that stood out to me about the sacks you guys have given up this year, you guys will give up like 4.5, and you won't give up any for second half. I think Jacob's been sacked over 70 times since he's been a starter, but you'll go key stretches without a sack. So there's a lot of nuance to that. Maybe you can explain that to me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's a big number, Jacob. Sorry, buddy. You know, I know you have been on the ground quite a bit. I apologize for that. And I know the offensive line doesn't love that number either. But it is good that when we need it most, we can get the protection we need to deliver the ball down the field. Jacob still has full belief in the offensive line, the offensive structure. And, you know, early in the games, I do think it has a little bit, you have to give some credit to the teams we're playing. I mean, we're not playing slouch opponents. We're playing defensive lines that have been FBS forever. They've got the bodies that they need. They understand how to attack, you know, how to attack offensive line play, and they do a good job of it. Once we settle in and kind of have a feel for what they're doing in the matchups, we do a good job of coming out in the second half and kind of settling in and doing things we need to do to be successful.
Back to those, like, final 2 minutes, the craziness that happens there. I feel like a lot of that has to do with buy-in. Like, never believe that this team's going to go down, and you can even kind of zoom that out and see it in the greater picture of things. Like, coming into this year, you had seniors that knew maybe there was going to be a postseason chance, all those types of things. Like, how do you build a culture like that to have that buy-in, have that belief, and the trust that no matter what's going on outside the building, we can always focus on ourselves and make what needs to happen?
Yeah. Loyalty, trust, accountability, and love, man. I mean, it's what we preach every day. It's who we are. You know, there's a lot of the used car salesman type of verbiage going on in college football right now, but we actually live by what we say. I think if you look at our football team and you look at the way we play, you look at how they carry themselves outside of football, it speaks to all those different types of things. And we want to develop great men, and there is no other option in our program. You either fully buy in and you're about what we're about, which is the right things on and off the field, or you don't last. You know, it has everything to do with the players and their mentality and the culture in which we recruit. We recruit players that fit us. You know, you don't have to be the best player in the world getting paid $1 million to have success here at Missouri State. We put coaching staffs around you that will develop you, get you ready for the next level, get you ready to be the best husband and father you can possibly be, because that's part of our job too. And people still value authenticity. I think that gets lost. They don't want to hear a bunch of BS that blowing smoke about what you can do for them, all the gadgets you got, all the, you know, we went to Liberty, they had like the flames in the building, all that jazz, all that whatever. We're a blue-collar group. If you want to be successful, if you want to be a good man, you want to win football games, come to Missouri State.
Hey, Coach, you remarked before about how good Tristan Gardner has been and continues to become. And 2 big catches on the last drive, including the game winner. What do you say about a kid who's a freshman who comes in and just has the you-know-whats to make the big plays?
Yeah, he's elite. I've loved him since. So we actually took me and a few other guys down to his house to kind of seal the deal in recruiting, and we played some cards. And just from right there, you could see his sense of competitiveness and his natural edge that he had. He's a competitor. He loves to win. He is relentless in his day-to-day execution of how to get there. You know, if you've watched his practice, the kid practices as hard as anyone on the team, and he's got a maturity factor to him. All right, he's got a daughter that he knows he needs to provide for. I think that gives him a winning edge as a young player, knowing that it's not just about him. He's a selfless young man. He's a great person to be around, and he is unbelievably talented. I've talked about his ability to kind of get off just the simple little collisions that kind of knock young guys off from time to time. He's got a good enough frame. He's got good enough physical strength to be able to do the things that more veteran players do, and he's going to continue to get better and better.